Hi, I'm Amy. I'm really excited to share some recipes with you today. I'm going to be making a sausage and egg pie first. I'm really excited about this. We eat eggs pretty often, but I've never made an egg dish with grits. So let's go ahead and give this a try. If you're new here, I'm a wife and a mom to two toddlers, and I love to share what I'm cooking for my family. I like to make easier, quick recipes that taste really good. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So I need some water and some milk. It actually calls for half and half, but I don't have any half and half. Okay, so first I'm going to add in half a cup of milk. This is whole milk. And then next I'm adding in a cup of water. Now I'm just going to take this pan and bring it over to the stove and boil it. Now I'm going to do the chopping. So I have cherry tomatoes and some chicken sausage. The original recipe calls for pork sausage, but we don't have any of that, so I'm just using the chicken sausage links. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut those up and saute them really quickly just so they get some color. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just halving these cherry tomatoes, and then I'm just going to go ahead and set them aside. This chicken sausage is still a little bit frozen, and I actually don't need all of them, so I'm going to use 3.5 of them. And I'm just going to cut them up pretty small, just like how they would be if you had ground sausage. And so I'm just going to dice it up. Okay, let's just save these for later. I did make a different egg dish maybe a video or two ago, so you can definitely check that out. I used chicken sausage in that one as well, but this one's pretty different than that. Everything's chopped up, so the chicken sausage is ready, the tomatoes are ready, and so we're gonna go back to the stove and add the grits to the milk. Actually, first we need to add the butter, and I'm just gonna stir this until the butter melts, and then we're gonna add in some salt and the grits, and just cook those per the instructions on the package. I actually bought quick cook grits, so they only take 5 minutes to cook. Now I'm gonna add in the 1/4 teaspoon of salt. It says to reduce the heat to medium low. I'm gonna add in those grits, give it a stir, and then I'm gonna cook it covered for 7 minutes. You could cook these in the microwave too. I just decided not to. I don't have a round pie pan that will work for this because it says a deep dish pie pan, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use this 8.5 by 8.5 pan, and I'm gonna spread some butter on it. You could just use spray oil if you have that. I just don't have any. And then I'm not gonna cook up the chicken sausage or the spinach quite yet. My 2-year-old just woke up from her nap, so once I finish with this, I'm just gonna wait for the grits to finish cooking so they don't burn, and then I'll finish the cooking of the chicken sausage and the spinach when I come back down from getting her. Probably won't see my face anymore because my kids will be awake, so I'll just do some voiceover for the rest of this video. But let me know how you like this style of filming. I'm just trying out different things to see what works, but I'll definitely do this again if I think it does work. So I'll see you back here in a second. I'm just gonna take the cooked grits and put them up at the bottom of the pan. So this will be our base for our egg casserole. I think that's so unique. I've never put grits at the bottom. I put like croissants and potatoes, hash browns, just some dough, you know, anything like that. But I don't know, this will be interesting. It's kind of a fun take on it, I think. So we're just gonna evenly spread this out. I definitely didn't properly stir it, I don't think, because some of it got stuck to the bottom of the pan. It didn't get burnt, but it definitely got stuck. So I think I just didn't stir it enough. Maybe I should have used a silicone spoon or something like that. I'm adding a little bit of butter to the pan. You don't have to if you're using like pork sausage, but chicken sausage doesn't have a lot of fat. Also, if you're using this chicken sausage, I'm just cooking it for a little bit more flavor and kind of a nice like texture, but it is fully cooked. Of course, you have to cook your like pork sausage if you're using that. And I'm also just going to quickly saute up the spinach. Now I'm assembling everything in this baking dish. So on top of the grits, I'm adding the chicken sausage, laying that in an even layer. Then I'm putting the spinach on top of that. Then the cherry tomatoes. I actually have only 8 cherry tomatoes for this recipe, which was actually
perfect. I think if I made this again, I might actually double the recipe. It was so good. But anyway, next I'm putting on some shredded cheddar cheese. I also think Parmesan cheese would be really good if you don't have cheddar or if you want to just try something different. I'm setting that aside so that I can go ahead and get the egg portion ready. So it's 7 eggs. And this is whole milk. The recipe actually called for half and half, but I didn't have any, so I just used whole milk. 1/4 teaspoon of salt and some pepper. All right, we're gonna give these eggs a nice whisk to get everything mixed together. And let's just pour the egg. I wanna kind of try and get it on evenly. And that's everything for this. I think I'm actually gonna take it and make sure all of the ingredients are all the way to the edge and everything is not just in the center. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and bake this up for 30 minutes. It looks like it should be tasty. I loved this, my whole family loved this, and I'll definitely be making it again. Probably double the recipe next time, but I loved the grits portion on the bottom. It didn't exactly stay together like the top and the bottom part, but you know, you just put it both on back on your fork and it was really good. This is the cookbook that I found it in, Whitney Miller's cookbook. She's actually the season 1 winner of MasterChef. It's actually on Hulu now, and I got that cookbook from the library, but I'd highly recommend this. It's so unique and I loved it. Here's what I'm making right now. This would be a great dinner option, a great lunch option because it provides a lot of leftovers. I'm actually only doing about 2/3 or like 3/4 of the recipe because I've already used up some bacon. It calls for a whole pound of bacon, a whole pint of tomatoes, and I've already used about half a pound of bacon. And as you can see, kind of about half of the cherry tomatoes. So I actually cooked this bacon up maybe like a week ago and just froze it. And then I have some Parmesan. This is pasta that I cooked up this morning. Onion, it's not red onion, but this is what I have. It's just a sweet onion, lemon, some spinach. You could use like romaine. That's what the recipe actually calls for. Mayo, I'm using Miracle Whip. And then I have ranch. You're supposed to have like fresh herbs. I don't have any of that. So we're kind of improvising here, but I'm just going to do dill. And then instead of like a packet of ranch seasoning, I have this from Trader Joe's, which I actually love to make my own dip using this. I just use Greek yogurt or even just whole milk plain yogurt and put some of this in here along with some freeze-dried chives. It's really good. Anyway, pepper and milk. Let's go ahead and put this together really quickly. I washed off the tomatoes and the lemon, and I'm going to go ahead and just have these cherry tomatoes. Okay, let's go ahead and set that aside. And then I'm gonna go ahead and juice this lemon. I'm probably only gonna do about 2/3 of the lemon. That's what I'm gonna aim for. Okay, now let's go ahead and set that aside. And I'm just gonna go ahead and cut up the bacon. You could crumble it if you're using, you know, just like freshly cooked bacon, but mine's not super crisp anymore. But I find that it doesn't really stay crisp in a pasta salad, or it's too crisp and it feels like you're kind of breaking your teeth. So I think this will look perfect for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop this up. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add everything to the bowl. Since I'm using spinach and not romaine, I don't really mind just mixing it all together at the same time, just because spinach is good kind of soft. But I did read in the recipe that if you want to make sure your romaine stays nice and crisp, you could just add it to the top and not add the sauces yet, or just go ahead and leave it off until the end. So I've added the onion that I chopped up. I didn't show you that, but I chopped up about 1/4 of an onion. That's the bacon that I diced up. Here's those halved tomatoes. I'm just gonna add in the lemon juice. The Parmesan, this is shredded Parmesan. I'm using actually like the full allotted amount. I'm not making that amount smaller. You could also use grated Parmesan if you'd like. Black pepper. some dill. Again, you could use fresh herbs. It specifically mentions fresh dill or parsley. That would be really delicious, but I just don't have any. And then I need to add milk as well as mayo. So I'm gonna do, just kind of choose 2/3 of a cup of each. So that's the milk. Okay, I don't actually have enough, but I'm just going with this. My husband doesn't love super mayo-y things anyway. So I'm doing a really, really light amount of mayo compared to the recipe. I've never actually put milk in my pasta salad. Have you ever done that? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments. And you're supposed to use an ounce packet of the ranch. Like I said, I don't have that. So I'm just gonna do about maybe 2 tablespoons of this ranch seasoning. Okay, there we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tear some of the spinach. I'm not gonna add a ton because I want my kids to eat it. And then if I want more, I can add it when I'm actually serving it. But that looks good. I also have some yogurt. So if I think it needs a little bit more dressing, creaminess, then I can do that instead of mayo. It will take a little bit of time for the flavor to kind of, meld together and all of that, but I'm gonna go ahead and taste it and see what I think. I really like it. I definitely don't think it needs more mayo. It's very creamy. I like the amount of onion that's in this. It's not like overpoweringly flavored with onion. Sometimes I think you can just taste onion if there's raw onion in here, but it's not super intense. I like the spinach, provides a little bit of texture. The flavor is great with the ranch. It is like a tad salty. So just something to keep in mind if you do make this, just because the ranch has salt, and of course bacon's pretty salty, Parmesan's pretty salty, but I love it. I'll link the recipe below. That's all for this video. I want to say thank you for watching it. I really hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate that. I'll be back next week with some more recipes. See you then. Bye.